This is Action News Jax special coverage tracking Dorian.
Gaining strength at sea, Dorian is currently a Category 1 storm, but slowly making its way into the southwest Atlantic. Our latest track shows it could make landfall on Florida's east coast Monday. Forecasted at a Category 4, Dorian could be the strongest hurricane to hit the east coast of Florida in at least 15 years. That last storm, Gene, and before that, Hurricane Andrew in 1992. I'm Tanika Hughes.
I'm John Bachman. For those of you joining us from the Jags postgame show, let's get you caught up. Dorian is forecasted to be a Category 4 storm making landfall on Florida's east coast within 130-mile-an-hour winds. Tonight, Jacksonville's biggest college campuses announced that they are calling off classes in the days to come. And tonight, all 67 Florida counties and 12 southeast Georgia counties are under states of emergencies. Action News Jax has team coverage making sure that you stay safe and know what's on its way. Starting with First Alert Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish. And Mike, Dorian is still about 950 miles away from Jacksonville tonight.
Right, exactly. Long ways away, in other words, but it's a strengthening hurricane. These are the numbers from the National Hurricane Center right now, but they'll be updated anytime over the next 15 or 20 minutes. Betcha the winds are a little stronger, the pressure is going to be lower, and we can see a storm that continues to develop here and organize far to the southeast of Florida, far to the southeast of Jacksonville for the moment. Hurricane Hunter aircraft left Tampa about 4 o'clock this afternoon into the storm, and there's that lower pressure that they're getting from the middle of the, very near the eye, and wind speed estimates have been as high as 80 to 90 miles per hour. So we're likely seeing a stronger storm, and this track is going to be updated as well here shortly. Not likely to see a whole lot of change, though it might, the forecast might come in tonight at 11 just a little bit further to the south. In any case, Category 4 hurricane landfall very near Stewart about Monday afternoon into Monday evening. Category 1 storm has winds of 74 to 95 miles per hour. Cat 2, 96 to 110. Cat 3, 111 to 129 mile per hour winds expected to attain that intensity tomorrow. And then there's the landfall intensity that is forecast. 130 plus mile per hour winds can result in catastrophic damage, and then obviously a Cat 5 like Hurricane Michael last October in the Panhandle. Let's hope we don't have to deal with anything that intense. So in the full First Alert forecast in about 15 minutes, tracking Dorian, we should be real close to getting the latest updated information on the intensity and the updated track as well, and then local impacts for Jacksonville, northeastern Florida, and southeastern Georgia.
All right, 2 years ago, Black Creek in Clay County looked like this. Water rose several feet, trapping people in their homes. That's the second story of that home.
It absolutely does bring bad memories up. The thought that all the neighbors who still have not recovered, I'm sure, are in the same situation.
As Dorian churns in the Caribbean, that neighbor is praying he doesn't have to relive the nightmare of 8 months of recovery again.
Action News Jax, Ryan Nelson joins us live from Clay County tonight. And Ryan, he tells you that the latest Dorian forecast bringing back some tough memories.
Tanika, Black Creek is calm tonight, but he said that was hardly the case in 2017 when Hurricane Irma came through. Hurricane Dorian barreling towards Florida is the last thing Black Creek neighbors in Clay County want to see.
It absolutely does bring bad memories up.
Clay County leaders held a press briefing today urging neighbors to be prepared for the storm and prepared to leave if necessary. Action News Jax told you in 2017 when Black Creek flooding from Hurricane Irma reached up to 30 feet. Bob Sargent tells me the creek reached and surpassed the second story of his house. You can see the creek's level on a normal day, but Sargent tells us that during Hurricane Irma, it reached as high as 2 feet above the second story deck where my photographer is standing. On the left, you see video we shot today, and on the right, you're seeing video of Black Creek reaching Sargent's second floor in 2017.
By 6 in the evening, we called for a boat ride, and we took the dog and the wife and a backpack and headed out.
He tells me rebuilding took 8 months and a lot of manpower as they removed about 27,000 pounds of debris from his water-damaged home. He's praying he doesn't have to rebuild again should Dorian impact Clay County.
Those of us that are still in the area need to heed the warnings.
And coming up all new at 11, the unique measures he's taken to protect his house from another flood event. Reporting in Clay County, Ryan Nelson, Fox 30, Action News Jax.
State and local leaders are already getting emergency plans into place.
Governor Ron DeSantis joined Mayor Lenny Curry to get the word out about how to prepare before the storm hits, especially in those low-lying areas. And the mayor basically talking with the governor as well, just warning people to make sure that they have their preparations in place and talking about how they're working to get fuel, water, and food to our area. Now, the governor and local leaders will monitor Dorian's track, and then they'll make decisions about who needs to evacuate and who might need to just stay in place. Action News Jax took a closer look at what exactly being under a state of emergency means. Now, it is something declared by the governor where he can assume direct control of emergency management. Some of the things he can do is evacuate cities if need be. He can also suspend or limit the sale of alcohol and firearms and close roads to traffic. The governor also said that Florida's National Guard is ready to go. He has not deployed any troops, but they are activated.
As evident from this video from Riverside in 2017, you remember this? Jacksonville, no stranger to impacts a hurricane can have. Action News Jax, Danny Bozzini continues our live team coverage. Danny, you spoke with people tonight in Riverside who have become seasoned to extreme weather.
Yeah, we're here on Riverside Avenue. It's an area that's notorious for flooding. One neighbor tells me during Hurricane Irma, the water was 31 inches high. It was so bad that she says the water was up past this first step of her porch. And that's why neighbors say they aren't taking any chances with Dorian.
Irma turned this road into a lake. It was like River Avenue instead of Riverside Avenue.
Mari Hartshorn has lived in Riverside for nearly 50 years. She says she's pretty much experienced it all, but she says nothing compares to Hurricane Irma.
This is where Hurricane Irma came to in the backyard.
The water was 31 inches high, something she had to document.
And there were boats tying up to the signs out here and rescue going on in kayaks. They were actually helping people from their houses in kayaks.
That's why Hartshorn and others in the area are getting their supplies ready ahead of Hurricane Dorian.
I've got plenty of water, plenty of food on hand, canned goods. I have candles in beer steins because they're easiest to carry around, but wind won't blow them out.
We wanted to make sure to get water. That was the big thing. Some things that, you know, we could just snack on if we needed to. Hopefully we won't lose power, but we might, and we're prepared for it.
Neighbors tell me the best thing to do is prepare for the worst but hope for the best. But people don't just have to worry about flooding. There's also possible power outages. At 11, I'll tell you how one man is making sure he is prepared. Reporting in Riverside, Danny Bozzini, FOX30 Action News Jax.
Now, JEA has 3 phases to get the power back on should Dorian knock it out. Phase 1 is the most important. That is to restore the backbone. That is the grid that includes police, fire stations, and hospitals. Now, phase 2, once first responders are there, the crews will repair residential circuits. And in phase 3, once the circuits are restored, smaller, isolated areas will be repaired. And then JEA asks all the neighbors who have outages to report them so they can give them all clear when the power is back on.
Tonight, all of Jacksonville's major college campuses announced that they will close for the weekend. JU canceled classes tomorrow through Tuesday. So did EWC starting at noon tomorrow. UNF and FSCJ told us they are canceling classes and activities Saturday through Tuesday. None of our local public school districts have canceled classes yet. A full list of closures is on actionnewsjax.com.
Yeah, EWC on that list as well. And John, you tweeted that information. Yeah. Today, the NCAA made the decision to move Saturday's FSU Boise State game to Tallahassee. They say it's not avoiding weather, but it's more about getting travelers to their destination safely. Today, Action News Jax spoke with businesses who will likely take a pretty big hit without that game coming to downtown. Dozens of people were calling a local Hampton Inn all day to cancel their reservations, costing the hotel big.
Between Friday and Saturday, I would say the majority of the occupancy here at the hotel was for the game.
Mayor Curry says he's working with Visit Jacksonville to make sure all hotels work with guests accordingly.
And if you do have a ticket, you can get a refund. If you don't want to make the trip to Tallahassee, we have that information on our website and on the Action News Jax app. We talked about this in the newsroom today. Hurricane Dorian may be more of a marathon than a sprint, as hurricanes are, but this one is especially long. Rain could fall over several days, which could mean significant flooding, even inland. It's very important to know your evacuation zone. We have a list of our local coastal counties online. All you have to do is type in your address to see where you are.
Action News Jax is your official station of the Jaguars, and tonight the deal is done. The Jags are 0-4 in the preseason. A live look now at TIAA Bank Field. Looks like everyone pretty much cleared out there. Now, not even the possibility of a hurricane affecting our area in the next few days could stop those fans from coming out. Action News Jax Courtney Cole live at the bank tonight. Courtney, fans you talked to said that they aren't ignoring the reality of the storm. They just wanted to take tonight to enjoy the game before things really pick up.
And Tanika and John, right now, the last few fans are trickling out of TIAA Bank Field behind me. And even though they're hurt a little bit from that 31-12 loss against the Atlanta Falcons, fans tell me there's no love lost tonight because this was a night to enjoy the sunshine ahead of Dorian. Fans drove into Jacksonville by car and this pretty cool Jaguars bus to support our Big Cats as they took on the Atlanta Falcons in tonight's preseason game finale. Duval was out in full force. Well, you know, as much as you can be for a preseason game, with one thing top of mind: winning.
We want to make it.
Oh, and well, this too.
I woke up this morning and said, where is my Jaguar headband? That's all I was thinking about.
Hurricane Dorian might be all that some are thinking about, but not these Jags fans.
We thought about we should get some water, but we said, you know what, let's just have some alternatives. And it's a beautiful day.
Well, at least not just yet.
I don't really worry until it gets to be a day or so because there's so much could change, and this is football.
Fans aren't anxious about the storm, but they do have one other concern instead.
I can't wait till the day that we actually win a Super Bowl.
And now that we've got the final pregame season out of the way, we're looking ahead. And the first game of the season against the Kansas City Chiefs will be right here next Sunday. And it's going to be awesome to hear fans are already excited for that. But something else that we want you to look ahead to and is Hurricane Dorian. We will keep you posted. Make sure you download those Action News Jax news and weather apps for the latest info, always at your fingertips. Reporting live at TIAA Bank Field, Courtney Cole, Fox 30, Action News Jax.
All right, more hurricane coverage and local headlines after the break.
In less than 3 minutes, Action News Jax spent the day with a business that's booming ahead of Hurricane Dorian.
I'm Action News Jax Chief Meteorologist Mike Burish updating the track and the intensity of Dorian any minute now from the National Hurricane Center and the local impacts through your holiday weekend. It's not all bad news in your first alert forecast.
All right, we're tracking Hurricane Dorian right now. The storm is rotating there in open waters, 90-degree water in the Atlantic, and it is gaining strength. An update from Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish 3 minutes away. Business is booming for tree trimming companies ahead of Dorian.
It's go, go, go. You know, we're working 7 days a week, doing everything we can to try to get as many people secure for the storm.
Now, if you have a tree you're concerned about, don't sleep on that side of the house. If you can, stay with family or friends.
Today was one of sandbag filling in Nassau County. A spokesperson for the county says there is a 25-bag limit per household, and help is available at every location for people unable to fill the bags themselves. Spots are open through Sunday from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m., and you can get the addresses on actionnewsjax.com. Now, GasBuddy.com is tracking stations without fuel tonight, and in Jacksonville, at last check, at least 10% of the stations didn't have gas. That's up from 6% earlier. So on GasBuddy, you can see exactly which areas are running low. So I'm going to do it here on this tablet, but you just go to Gas Tools there, and from there, scroll down and you want to click on Outage Tracker. Once you click on Outage Tracker, you'll see this map here behind me. You can just zoom in to different neighborhoods, and it'll just indicate what stations have gas, which stations do not. So a really helpful tool. You can also check prices by going under the traffic tab on actionnewsjax.com. Several airlines are offering waivers for people who have to fly Sunday and Monday. Delta, Southwest, Spirit, United, and others are offering rebooking options for several airports in Florida, including Jacksonville and Orlando. Now, some of these are on a case-by-case basis, so make sure you contact the airline before you head out.
Tonight, the Jacksonville Humane Society says that they are in the process of making arrangements to move the animals out of the shelter Friday and Saturday. They're getting help from a shelter in Delaware. Clay County is also planning on moving some of the animals around. Another update is about a minute away, but for the latest anytime, read Talking the Tropics with Mike on the Action News Jax website. That's actionnewsjax.com. Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish constantly updating it with the latest information.
And in some local headlines tonight, an escaped inmate back in custody in Columbia County. Action News Jax showed you Travis Thomas's face last night. Deputies say he walked off his work site near Deep Creek yesterday, and this is a new photo of him being taken back into custody. They did not say where he was found.
Former Jacksonville City Councilman Reggie Brown is asking for a second time to have his federal trial held separately from Katrina Brown. In his motion today, his attorneys say that Katrina Brown's decision to represent herself could hurt his case. Both former lawmakers face federal fraud charges. In Camden County, the St. Mary's Walmart is back open tonight. Staff and customers had to be evacuated this afternoon after police say someone called in a bomb threat. Officers scoped out the area but cleared the scene. We spoke with a customer service representative who told us they were back open at about 4 o'clock this afternoon.
Millions turn to Amazon for groceries, toys, and more, but there are now some new concerns about the safety of the products for sale. An investigation by the Wall Street Journal found mislabeled packaging that could lead to injury, especially in young children. A majority of the items for sale are sold by third-party vendors.
Now certified Jacksonville's most accurate weather forecast. Action News Jax First Alert Weather.
Still awaiting the new numbers from the National Hurricane Center, but did get some more information from the Hurricane Hunter aircraft that's in the storm right now, and it continues to be quite a bit stronger, it would appear. So I would expect these numbers, the winds to be higher, the pressure to be lower. The category might still be Cat 1, but perhaps on the verge of a Cat 2. Moving to the northwest, still at about 13 miles per hour. That's not likely to change a whole lot tonight, but then it'll be the bend more toward the west and still almost 1,000 miles away from Jacksonville. And this is the latest forecast. And again, I don't expect this to change appreciably, maybe pushed a little further south in the next update, but that's going to oscillate up and down the next couple of days. That's the fact of the matter. That's just the way it's going to be. It gets frustrating, I know, but you need to check back on the forecast, see exactly what's happening so that you can be properly prepared. And if you're traveling, particularly paying attention, especially if you're traveling anywhere in Florida. By 2 o'clock Monday afternoon, not too far from Fort Pierce and Stewart area in about the southeast coast of Florida, a little north of West Palm, and then moving, starting to make that turn toward the north. This is very Gene or Francis-like from the 04 hurricane season, which translates to heavy rain, isolated tornadoes, some power outages at least, and some wind. But of course, it would not be a direct major hit on something coming up like this as far as our local area is concerned, but we still are going to, or would have, some impact. So here's the view on the infrared satellite, and you can see the dark colors. That's the really strong thunderstorm activity very near the eye wall, indicating an intensifying hurricane. The main steering currents continue to be this Bermuda high-pressure area, which is drifting west now. It's sort of expanding some, while the weak area of low pressure starts to weaken and move off away. And so the high becomes the dominating factor for the weekend right on into early next week, driving the storm. Remember, there's a clockwise circulation, driving Dorian right into Florida, not able to escape out to sea. And the weakness in that ridge, the western edge, as it starts to move away again by Monday and Tuesday, allows then that northward turn once there's contact with land. So local impacts look like this: an elevated rip current risk all weekend long with or without Dorian. So extra care at the beaches. Never swim or surf alone. Always as near a lifeguard as at all possible. We'll have higher than average tides, including the St. Johns River and its tributaries, simply because of a pretty decent onshore wind, but also a new moon phase that starts tomorrow. Heavy rain at times, but the weekend is far from a washout. We'll have plenty of dry hours. Isolated tornadoes and waterspouts becoming increasing a threat later Monday and especially by Tuesday. So it's still quite a ways out. What you can do in the interim is have your hurricane plan ready and stay calm. Can't emphasize that enough. Keep up to date with the latest first alert forecast, clean storm drains and gutters. Watch Action News Jax for the latest updates, of course, and News 104.5 WOKV. 5 Street First Alert Doppler HD. Well, there are some showers offshore. This is the beginning of our changes as the winds start to come in off the Atlantic. Those bands of showers will gradually start to work inland. So as we go through the day tomorrow, scattered showers and perhaps a thunderstorm, may even have a few showers around during the morning. And this pattern holds then Saturday and Sunday. Weekend always in view in the First Alert 7-day forecast with all eyes on Dorian. But I'm telling you, it's not all that bad a weekend. 85 to 90 for highs. There will be some showers, a few storms at times, and plenty of dry hours. And then that rain starts to pick up later Monday and Monday night as Dorian makes a landfall, give or take. And then on and off rain, heavy at times, right through the middle of next week when what could be some very wet days, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. All the latest First Alert weathers at actionnewsjax.com. You can download for free the First Alert weather app, Talking the Tropics with Mike. And in the morning, it'll be Garrett Beanball with your latest First Alert forecast.
And start your morning again at 4:30 on Fox 30 with our news team, and we'll help you get prepared and continue to track Dorian. Coming up on Action News Jax at 11. All eyes are on Hurricane Dorian as Floridians prepare for the worst.
Irma turned this road into a lake. It was like River Avenue instead of Riverside Avenue.
Why you should prepare even as we're days away.
Plus, Jaguars fans came out for the last preseason game of the year. Why so many decided to go to the game despite a major hurricane making its way to Florida. Coming up on Action News Jax at 11.
All right, just in now, the new numbers on Hurricane Dorian. And look at this. I mentioned that's likely intensifying. Cat 2 hurricane winds at 105 miles per hour. Pressure is much lower. Moving to the northwest. The forecast updated track not changed a lot. Category 4 rolling through the northern Bahamas late Sunday and Sunday night. Monday afternoon and evening on the southeast coast of Florida as a Cat 4.
Some local doctors are learning what it takes to treat injuries on the beach during a storm. Action News Jax Beth Rousseau picks up our team coverage from Jax Beach, where lifeguards teamed up with UF Health today to learn how to respond.
Travis Myers is getting in one last surf session. He says he won't be out on the water when Hurricane Dorian hits Florida's east coast.
I'm not skilled enough at it. I've only been working at it for a couple of weeks. But like people like the other surfers out here, they'll definitely be out here.
Andrew Schmidt with UF Health and Ocean Rescue says there will be plenty of onlookers at the beach as well.
A hurricane ocean is one of the most beautiful things to see, but in that setting, people who don't understand how the ocean works can easily be swept out.
He's got a lot of bleeding to his leg.
He tells me it makes today's training for medical students and residents that much more important.
All these doctors are actually going to be on shift during the storm at our emergency and trauma center, and they may have some of these injuries coming in.
Myers is taking his own steps to make sure he doesn't end up a patient.
Make sure you're not going too far out. Make sure you're not out of your element.
Beth Rousseau, FOX30 Action News Jax.
All right, Action News Jax is a few reminders about things you can take care of tonight and the days to come. Get any prescriptions refilled, charge all devices and portable phone chargers, get batteries, and get water where you can. 1 gallon per person per day is recommended.
All right, here are the new numbers and that forecast track, which we'll have more on in just a couple of minutes here. I'll zoom in on that forecast track and the local impacts. Quite honestly, not a lot of change in the forecast path, but now Category 2 hurricane right at the moment.
All right, we're back in less than 2 minutes.
This is Action News Jax special coverage tracking Dorian.
Breaking news, a brand new advisory for Hurricane Dorian just into the Action News Jax First Alert Weather Center. This new track came in the last 5 minutes, and you can see Dorian has now strengthened to a Category 2. I'm Tanika Hughes.
And I'm John Bachman. The storm's still on a collision course with Florida's east coast. The 3 new things you need to know right now. Dorian, again, Category 2 hurricane. A new landfall time at Florida's east coast now projected for Monday at 8 o'clock at night. And the track really hasn't changed much from the last advisory, honing in on that Cape Canaveral area. Action News Jax has team coverage for you tonight. We begin with Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish in the First Alert Weather Center with an analysis of this brand new data. Mike?
Yeah, we're looking at a storm that continues to strengthen right now. It's a Category 2 hurricane. No surprise. The hurricane hunters have been in there all evening. The aircraft's been indicating falling pressure and higher winds. So let's take a look at that satellite photograph, and you can see the storm moving to the northwest now at about 12 miles per hour. That's pretty steady. It's been pretty much 12 to 14 miles per hour. the better part of the last couple of days. But those winds now up to 105 miles per hour, Category 2 hurricane. The pressure is lower, and that means an intensifying hurricane as well. And it's still about 950 to 960 miles to the southeast of Jacksonville, still a long ways away. Making that westward turn, this has not changed much. Going to a Category 3 tomorrow, a Category 4 Saturday over the open southwestern Atlantic, and then over the northern Bahamas Sunday afternoon and the Florida coast then Monday afternoon and evening. This would be a major hit and the most powerful hurricane to hit the east coast of Florida, possibly going all the way back to Andrew in 1992, which was a Cat 5, and then in 2004 we had Category 3 Gene affect the east coast of the U.S. So here's what has changed with this particular advisory. Now Category 2 hurricane. It's stronger. A Cat 4 by Sunday as it moves into the northern Bahamas, and by Monday afternoon and evening that landfall is a Cat 4 in the vicinity of Stewart, Fort Pierce, give or take there, a little bit north of West Palm as it stands now. Again, there are going almost certainly to be some changes in the coming days. A Category 1 has winds of 74 miles per hour. Now it's a Cat 2 when the winds are at least 96 miles per hour. Tomorrow it becomes a Cat 3 with winds of at least 111. And then northern Bahamas and the Florida coast with winds of at least 130 miles per hour, which can create and result in catastrophic damage. The local impacts continue to be an elevated rip current risk through the weekend. And then as we get into early next week, an increase in the heavier rainfall and the isolated tornado and waterspout threat. I'll have that full first alert forecast. A look at that ever-important weekend in about 15 minutes.
Today, Governor Ron DeSantis expanded his state of emergency declaration to include all 67 Florida counties. At a news conference in Jacksonville alongside Mayor Lenny Curry, the governor warned the community to be prepared to go days without power. The governor also said that he spoke with President Trump and is requesting he declare a pre-landfall disaster.
But if you don't prepare and then you have a significant impact, that's going to be something that you're going to regret.
The governor's next news conference is scheduled for tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. at the Florida Division of Emergency Management. You'll be able to watch that conference right here on CBS47 and Fox 30 and on the Action News Jax app. Georgia Governor Brian Kemp has also declared a state of emergency for parts of southeast Georgia. That emergency declaration includes Brantley, Camden, Charlton, Glynn, and Pierce counties. These counties now have access to help from the state of Georgia. Price gouging in these counties is also now prohibited.
And take a look at some video for you. It's what the Black Creek neighborhood looked like in Clay County. This was right after Irma hit 2 years ago. So how far would you go to protect your home and family from this kind of flooding? It's a story you'll see only on Action News Jax. One man in this neighborhood installed something that you would find on a ship to keep water out of his house. Action News Jax, Ryan Nelson joins us live from Clay County. And Ryan, he showed us at 10:30 how the water reached the second story of his home.
And Tanika, Black Creek is calm tonight, but that was hardly the case in 2017 when Hurricane Irma came through. Floodwaters got about 30 feet high. So he took a unique measure to protect his home and family. Only on Action News Jax, you're seeing video of Black Creek floodwaters reaching the second story of Bob Sargent's home during Hurricane Irma in 2017. This is what the Clay County homeowner pictures as Hurricane Dorian churns in the Atlantic.
We left before it got into the second story, and then it came another 2 feet above that.
Sargent tells me recovering took about 8 months and involved removing 27,000 pounds of debris from his water-damaged home. He was so determined to protect his home and family from another flood, he installed this.
Any good sailor would recognize that door.
A watertight door you would find on a ship.
The minimal cost that it cost me for the door is well worth the work and the damage and the loss that I'd suffer without it. I'll be closing that down and hope the creek doesn't rise any higher than 28 feet.
It's easy to understand why. We showed you this video in 2017 of Hurricane Irma's destruction along Black Creek. Many homeowners have yet to recover from floodwaters that reached about 30 feet high. As Dorian prepares to make landfall, Sargent says he'll be taking his vehicles to higher ground and prays others in the community are prepared.
Those of us that are still in the area need to heed the warnings.
And the First Alert Weather Team is closely monitoring the possible impacts on Clay County. Be sure to download the Action News Jax mobile app. Reporting in Clay County, Ryan Nelson, CBS 47, Fox 30, Action News Jax.
Both St. Johns and Bradford counties have announced times and locations for sandbag collection. In St. Johns, sandbags are available every day from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. at 6 locations. In Bradford County, sandbags will be available tomorrow at the Emergency Management Maintenance Yard from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Those looking to pick up sandbags are asked to take Davis Street to get to the maintenance yard.
As Hurricane Dorian continues to strengthen, state and local leaders are stressing the need for everyone to prepare. Jacksonville is no stranger to impacts of hurricanes, of course. That's why Governor DeSantis says everyone should expect to lose power. Our team coverage continues with Action News Jax, Danny Boise, who spoke with neighbors tonight who are not taking any chances.
Yeah, neighbors we spoke to today tell us they've braved it all. One neighbor says the floodwaters were so high during Hurricane Irma that her porch was filled to the top of the brim with water. And during Hurricane Matthew, several others lost power.
We did go without power for about 6 days last time. This time we're more prepared for it.
Eric McNutt is making sure that doesn't happen again. Ahead of Hurricane Dorian, his family is ready to go. Since this time, they have a backup generator.
Hopefully we won't lose power, but we might. And we're prepared for it.
He's also buying as much water as he can, as well as non-perishables. For those that have weathered the storms before, they tell Action News Jax it's better to just be prepared.
I've got plenty of water, plenty of food on hand, canned goods. I have candles in beer steins because they're easiest to carry around, but like the wind won't blow them out.
Have a plan, figure it out, and actually probably should have already been thinking about it the last few days.
City officials are also stressing for everyone to know their zone, so if there is an evacuation, that everyone knows when and where to go. Reporting in Riverside, Danny Boise, CBS47, FOX30 Action News Jax.
As the city of Jacksonville prepares for Dorian, it's also dealing with the economic impact from the FSU Boise State game having to change venues to Tallahassee. Several hotels and local businesses were expecting thousands, tens of thousands of people to come to the city for the game. Bold City Brewery in downtown Jacksonville was expecting fans to grab a beer before the game. The Hampton Inn downtown had dozens of people calling all day to cancel their hotel reservations, costing the hotel a lot of money.
This is about the ability to move people. This is about having thousands of people here from out of town when we may either be issuing evacuation orders or we may have counties south of us that have issued evacuation orders.
Yeah, it was a tough decision to make, but safety first. Mayor Curry said he is working with Visit Jacksonville to make sure all hotels work with guests accordingly. People can get refunded for their tickets as well. That information is on actionnewsjax.com and on the Action News Jax app.
Tonight, the Jaguars took on the Atlanta Falcons right here at home for their preseason finale. And not even the possibility of a hurricane impacting our area in the next few days could stop those fans from coming out to support the black and teal.
Action News Jax Courtney Cole is live at the bank. And Courtney, fans you spoke to say they are not ignoring the reality of the storm. They just wanted to take tonight to enjoy the game.
And in the last few minutes, the last of the fans here at TIAA Bankfield have cleared out. Hearts are a little hurt tonight after they lost to the Falcons, but fans I spoke to say there's no love lost because tonight was a time to enjoy the sunshine and a good game ahead of Dorian. Fans drove into Jacksonville by car and this pretty cool Jaguars bus to support our Big Cats as they took on the Atlanta Falcons in tonight's preseason game finale. Duval was out in full force. Well, you know, as much as you can be for a preseason game, with one thing top of mind, winning.
We want to make it.
Oh, and well, this too.
I woke up this morning and said, where is my Jaguar headband? That's all I was thinking about.
Hurricane Dorian might be all that some are thinking about, but not these Jags fans.
We thought about we should get some water, but we said, you know what, let's just have some alternatives, and it's a beautiful day.
Well, at least not just yet.
I don't really worry until it gets to be a day or so, because there's so much could change, and this is football.
Fans aren't anxious about the storm, but they do have one other concern instead.
I can't wait till the day that we actually win a Super Bowl.
And now that we've got those preseason losses out of the way, we can look forward to the start of the season. That's next Sunday, right here at TIAA Bank Field at 1 o'clock against the Kansas City Chiefs. But something else we want you to look ahead to, keeping up with Hurricane Dorian. We make it really easy for you. Download our Action News Jax news and weather apps, and you'll always have the latest information right at your fingertips. Reporting live at TIAA Bank Field, Courtney Cole, CBS 47, Fox 30, Action News Jax.
Edward Water has announced tonight that they will cancel class and close campus at noon tomorrow and will remain closed through Tuesday. Jacksonville University will also cancel class at 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon and will also remain closed through Tuesday. University of North Florida canceled classes and activities from Saturday through Tuesday. The same at Florida State College at Jacksonville, closing campus Saturday through Tuesday. You can find that information on actionnewsjax.com as well.
Tracking Dorian, I'm Action News Jax Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish. The spaghetti models, if you will, the plots show this storm moving right into central Florida and then that turn northward, very Francis or Jean-esque, if you will, from 2004. As far as Jacksonville and northeastern Florida is concerned, I'll have those local impacts coming up after the break.
Next at 11, ports across Florida are on alert ahead of Hurricane Dorian. We'll tell you why some here in northeast Florida are preparing now.
And the Florida Department of Corrections is canceling visitations for this weekend. We'll tell you which facilities are included coming up on Action News Jax at 11. You are looking at the very latest on Hurricane Dorian. This is the 11 p.m. advisory. Now a Category 2 hurricane released just about 15-20 minutes ago. Now, in the next 4 minutes, First Alert Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish will have a full forecast of Dorian and where it's headed, break down exactly what we can expect here in northeast Florida. Last night, Action News Jax told you how different ports across Central to South Florida were set at level whiskey by the U.S. Coast Guard. Well, today we can add to that list. Ports in Jacksonville and Fernandina Beach have been set to X-ray level, while Brunswick has been set to whiskey. All right, just to remind you, there are 4 port conditions: whiskey, X-ray, Yankee, and Zulu. Whiskey means that gale force winds are expected to arrive at the port within 72 hours, but the port remains open for commercial traffic for now. X-ray means that those gale force winds are expected to arrive within 48 hours, and the port remains open. As Dorian gets closer, these levels will continue to be upgraded based on when those gale force winds will arrive.
As the storm moves closer, Naval Station Mayport not taking any chances. Action News Jax Christy Turner visited the base today to learn what sailors are doing to prepare for an emergency.
As Florida prepares for Hurricane Dorian, Naval Station Mayport is gearing up as well.
The base is well prepared.
Thursday, Action News Jax spoke with base leaders about plans to keep everyone on base safe.
We're looking at picnic tables, over in housing, all of their patio furniture, all of that stuff needs to be put away.
Chief Mark Robinson, the emergency manager on base, says they ramped up their hurricane readiness to a level 3.
Setting in place only essential personnel, and we're putting minimum operations going on in the base.
These are multi-million-dollar ships. To keep them safe, the Navy says it's reviewing plans to send them out to sea and away from the storm.
We trained for this.
Every year, the base takes part in a hurricane exercise, which is beneficial to younger recruits who may not have experienced a hurricane.
It is all about safety, so that's why you have to prepare.
There are more than 11,000 people who live and work on base. They say it's important for all military families to review evacuation plans.
They need to think about where they're going to go. Should something happen, where are they going?
If the commanding officer on base orders an evacuation, Action News Jax will bring you the update on air and online at actionnewsjax.com. Reporting at Naval Station Mayport, Christy Turner, CBS 47, Fox 30, Action News Jax.
Action News Jax has now learned that Naval Station Mayport is sending several ships out to sea to ride out Hurricane Dorian. The USS Shamal has already left, but the USS Lassen, the USS Paul Ignatius, the USS Farragut, USS Billings, and USS Milwaukee are preparing to get leave tomorrow.
And like the U.S. Coast Guard and Naval Station Mayport, NAS Jax also has different levels used in preparation for a storm like Hurricane Dorian. Right now, NAS Jax has ordered conditions of readiness 3. That'll begin tomorrow at 10 a.m. That means that winds of at least 50 miles an hour are expected within 48 hours. During this level, personnel should be checking for medical supplies, boarding up houses if needed, and gathering supplies like water. Now, this condition will be upgraded to a 2, so those 50-mile-an-hour winds are now at 24 hours out, if that's the case. And at that point, there would be evacuations ordered, and you could be moving your car away from trees and power poles. And when the winds are 12 hours out, the level gets raised to a 1. Personnel should be saving water, making sure pets are inside, and avoiding windows. As those conditions elevate, Action News Jax will make sure to be the first to report it to our viewers on the Action News Jax app, on actionnewsjax.com, and right here on CBS 47 and Fox 30.
Now, certified Jacksonville's most accurate weather forecast. Action News Jax, first alert weather.
All right, these new numbers we showed you at the top of the newscast here. Hurricane Dorian intensifying. Category 2 storm, pressure's lower, and movement is to the northwest. It will turn more west with time, and of course that's huge on exactly where this storm ends up. As far as Florida is concerned, it's about 950 to 960 miles southeast of Jacksonville right now. And if there's good news as far as the weekend goes, this has no impact on our weekend, other than you should keep checking the latest forecast, the latest first alert forecast, and any preps that might be necessary. But otherwise, there'll be some sun mixed in with the rain that will plenty of dry hours. But here's the bad news. By Monday afternoon, a Category 4 hurricane on the southeast coast of Florida, forecast to be very near Fort Pierce. This is a little further south than the last couple of days, the last 24 hours or so, but that's going to happen. You're going to get some oscillation north and south. Zoomed in view shows the hurricane. There it is, Monday at 8 p.m. So it's a little slower too, nearing the southeast coast of Florida, then painstakingly slow thereafter. A slow turn to the north, and notice southeast Georgia's out of that cone, at least for right now. May very well get back in there, but that slow movement to the north adds up to some really heavy rain potentially for here. That may be the big deal, the volume of rainwater and also east winds bringing in a lot of ocean water. So the St. Johns River is going to get full, and so will its tributaries, and we have higher than average tides this weekend too with the new moon. And there's a zoomed in view south of Orlando at about 8 o'clock Tuesday evening, and then just making that slow turn north. Yeah, it's possible we're getting effects from what's left of Dorian for up to next Thursday or Friday, the end of next week. So here it is, the bearish bottom line on local impacts, elevated rip current risk and high tides through the weekend, not necessarily directly tied to Dorian, but boy, be careful at the beaches. Heavy rain at times this weekend because of onshore east winds, again, not directly associated yet with Dorian, and it's not a washout at all for Saturday and Sunday in particular. Isolated tornadoes and waterspouts, that threat starts to increase as we get into later Monday and especially Tuesday and Wednesday. So here's the storm that's starting to wrap up a little bit more. The storm's becoming even more vigorous near the center, indicating an intensifying hurricane. And here are the main drivers. And again, it's that Bermuda high, which is stretched out, kind of flexing its muscles, and you get that clockwise circulation around the high, driving Dorian to the west. It blocks it from coming north, at least initially, and then once the high starts to break down and go a little bit east, it can manage to go a little bit northward. So this H is the key in our forecast with Dorian over the next 4 or 5 days. So right now is a good time to make sure you're prepared for hurricane, the peak of the hurricane season. Stay calm. Keep up to date with that first alert forecast. Clean out the storm drains and gutters in your neighborhood and on your house. Watch Action News Jax for the latest updated first alert forecast and News 104 WOKV. News 104.5 WOKV. I'll be on first thing tomorrow morning with live updates. 5-sweep first alert Doppler HD. We do have some rain offshore, and when that wind starts to become east, that's when we get into the scattered showers and an isolated thunderstorm. Temperatures this weekend 85 to 90 degrees. There will be, allow me to emphasize, plenty of dry hours, Saturday and Sunday in particular on this weekend, which is always in view in the first alert 7-day forecast. All eyes on Dorian. On and off heavy rain then, right on into the middle of next week, and possibility for some severe weather as Dorian moves on by what's left of Dorian. More at actionnewsjax.com. Download the First Alert Weather app. Check out Talking the Tropics with Mike and Garrett Bedenbaugh will be here to check everything out and update first thing in the morning.
In preparation for Hurricane Dorian, the Florida Department of Corrections has canceled weekend visitation at all correctional facilities across the state. The cancellation is in effect from Saturday through Monday. It includes institutions, work camps, work release centers, and annex facilities.
The North Florida South Georgia Veteran Health System is canceling all outpatient clinic appointments scheduled for Tuesday. This does include Jacksonville, Palatka, St. Augustine, St. Mary's, Waycross, and both the Lake City and Gainesville VA medical centers. At this time, only Tuesday appointments have been canceled, but they will be rescheduled.
If you still haven't bought water, you can get some for free at local breweries. Wicked Barley, Tabula Rasa, and Legacy Ale are all offering free water to people preparing for Hurricane Dorian. You can visit all of these locations Friday, tomorrow. Legacy Ale will be distributing water on Saturday as well. That information can be found on actionnewsjax.com for the Action News Jax app.
It's the best local sports show in Jacksonville. This is Action Sports Jax, powered by Safe Touch Security.
Well, thankfully, the preseason is over. Hi, everybody. Dan Hicken at TIAA Bank Field. My goodness, first time in the history of the Jacksonville Jaguars franchise that they don't win a preseason game. What does it mean? Not much. Honestly, they didn't play anybody. Again, tonight, 40 guys didn't dress. Interesting thing, though, they were playing another team, the Atlanta Falcons, who had lost 12 straight preseason games. Final score here is Atlanta 31, or should I say Atlanta's backups 31, Jaguars backups 12. Let's show you exactly how it happened. Atlanta dominating from the outset. They score a couple touchdowns early to get up on the Jaguars by a score of 14-0. Look, Jacksonville looking for anyone to make an explosive play. Those young receivers didn't catch the ball, but Rock Armstead did run it well, and here he breaks off a 32-yard run for a big gainer. That would lead to a Josh Lambo field goal. Jaguars get 3 points. Their only touchdown of the night was an Alex Magoo scramble towards the end of the game. Alex Magoo scored 2 touchdowns that way in the preseason. The Jaguars scored a franchise record low of points in these 4 games. It wasn't pretty, but it's over, and now the Jaguars and Doug Marrone can begin to focus on the regular season. A week from Sunday, they host the Kansas City Chiefs.
We're going into this first game. We're healthy, and that was the goal, and that's where we are now. Now we're going to be ready to play.
Clearly, there's a lot of work to do, but Doug Marrone did accomplish one objective. He's getting to the starting line healthy. His football team should be ready to go a week from Sunday when they host the Kansas City Chiefs. 40 guys didn't dress tonight. Those 40 are going to be the primary makeup of the 2019 Jacksonville Jaguars. But I would suggest to you the Jaguars will be watching the waiver wire very closely over the next few days after they make their cuts and may add a player 2 or 3 along the way. That's the story here at TIAA Bank Field. I'm Dan Hicken, Action Sports Jax.
All right, Dan, thank you very much. Final look at your first alert forecast after the break.
All right, there's the updated Dorian track. Not a lot of change. Slightly further south on that contact with the Florida coast, and later, Monday afternoon and evening. Continues to be delayed. Long process here. Now, the good news on that is that Jacksonville, Northeast Florida, Southeast Georgia have virtually no Dorian impact, certainly through Sunday, and really the better part of Labor Day, before the storm then starts to make a turn northward. The bad part of that is it could be several days of very heavy rain for the local area, along with isolated tornadoes. Kind of Gene and Francis-esque 2004, and what that means is a lot of rain. The isolated tornadoes more in Talking the Tropics with Mike at actionnewsjax.com. Garrett Biedenbaugh here in the morning, and I'll be on the radio side, News 104.5.
All right, thanks, Mike.
A lot more to go, Dorian. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night.